Hi guys, welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon and Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. I've put a link in there. It will give you your free natal chart. And it's kind of important to know because your sun sign, which is the one that everybody focuses on, is actually like a tiny sliver of your natal chart, and you may find that other aspects of your chart resonate better with you than your sun sign. So watch the videos for those three because they tend to give you the biggest overview, the most accurate overview rather. What else to tell you? If you're a subscriber and you're returning, I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and do please consider subscribing because it helps raise the visibility of the channel, and then I get out to more people. I'm really here to help people. That's my raison d'être. So, what else? If you'd like a personal reading, that information is down there in the description box as well. I'm on social media, and most people tend to prefer to contact me through there, to be honest. So, Instagram and Facebook at Scorched Earth Tarot. Get in touch. And the videos are timestamped, so if you don't want to hear me waffle and watch me shuffle and all that sort of thing, go down into the comment box and the first comment will be me with the timestamp. Just click on that and it'll take you straight to the reading. So, Taurus, Mercury retrograde, God, here it goes, starts Thursday on Samhain, on Halloween. So just be aware of old situations that you maybe not dealt with, returning, popping back up again. That can be people, that can be situations. It can also be emotional states as well, you know, things that you thought that you dealt with, just kind of popping back up, triggered by something, you know, relatively insignificant, kind of throw you into turmoil a little bit. But it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and it's allowing you to close things out properly. So don't be scared. I think that's all I need to tell you. So let's get some cards for you for the month of November. 3 cards for Taurus. Well, first one out is the Page of Swords. Interesting, given what I've just said. 2. Wow. That one flew out. Oh, I've got the Sun. Beautiful. Card of Leo in the Major Arcana. Number 19. One more card for Taurus, please. One more card for Taurus. I've got some flippers, but I'm not going to take those. I want jumpers. If you want to come out, you've got to jump. Thank you, Spirit. Right. And we've got the King of Wands. Fixed fire. It's usually Leo, it's certainly an earth sign. The bottom of the deck we've got the Chariot, which is the card of Cancer, number 7. Right. No, shuffle these first. We'll get some clarifiers. And then we'll get on with this. I've splurged and bought myself a new camera. It's coming tomorrow, so if you're still finding the audio a little low, and some people have commented that that is the case, as of tomorrow, hopefully that should be entirely fixed. I'm so excited, I can't even tell you. Right. Okay. Why is the Page of Swords here for Taurus? The World. Justice. I'm going to show you that, but it fell rather than jumped, so I'm going to put it back in the deck. I'm sure if it wants to come out, it'll make its presence known. I'll get to that, but I'm quite amused it's appeared. Why is the Page of Wands? Why is the Sun here? Got the 3 of Pentacles, that's earth energy, so it's you. Strength to clarify the Sun, another Leo card. It's number 8 in the major arcana. There's a lot of Leo over here, like I'm just saying. My Leo self loves that. So there's the King of Wands. Ooh, the Hierophant. Hello Taurus, there you are. And there's the King of Wands here. And the Fool. How wonderful. At the bottom of the deck we have the Tower. Don't be frightened. I'm not actually surprised to see that card here at all. And yeah, I'll get to it in a second. Before I go any further, I should tell you in the pre-shuffle, while I was meditating on your energy and just kind of due dates, talking about due dates, kept rolling around in my head. So you may be finding out that there's somebody around you who is pregnant fairly soon. If not you, let's see. Just saying. So, Taurus, the first card you have is the Page of Swords. Now, pages are messengers, right? That's literally their job, and they can talk of bringing apologies or naive excitement about new experiences and stuff. With the Page of Swords, he's kind of the most serious of all the page. Well, no, maybe Page of Pentacles actually. Certainly in this deck, he's depicted as looking very grave, right? And because he's swords, which is air energy, it's about communication. It's also about truth and integrity and logic and honour and all of those sorts of things. But because he's a page rather than one of the higher, echelons of the court hierarchy, he lacks the experience and the finesse of the other members of court. So he tends to bring messages that are rather clumsily delivered, sometimes cuttingly delivered. Yes, because that sword is sharp. And particularly in this depiction, it's a little bit bleak. He's got a grave look on his face and he's clutching a scroll. And I'm drawn to the fact that his sword is pointing down in this card rather than up, which is the standard depiction. But the horse is white, and white is, innocence and truth and purity and all that sort of thing. So in the month of November, I think that you might be getting a message from someone, and it's almost certainly not what you want to hear, actually, I think. You kind of feel slightly wounded by it. But the relevance of the horse and the sword, for me, at this moment, is that I feel like there's an underpinning of truth in the message, but it's clumsily delivered, possibly slightly hurtfully delivered, and the person that's delivering it thinks that they're right. That's the foundation, that's the background. But it's their interpretation of the situation, and it's not objective. It's coloured by their own baggage, if you will. Yeah. The two cards that you have to clarify are the World and the Page of Wands. Now, the reason that I smirked when the World came out here, and why I smirked when the Page of Swords came out, is because of literally what I was just saying about the retrograde. I mean, it's old situations popping back up, and they're, to a degree, you can kind of expect them during a retrograde, but I do think, given the fact that the Tower is at the bottom of this deck, and also the Nine of Swords, and also the Five of Swords, that whatever comes out, whatever your reaction is to it, it's unexpected, right? So if there's somebody that you're worried about hearing from, it's probably not that person. I'm just going to throw it out there. But you've got someone coming in to give you a message, and then you've got the world card. Now this depicts the 4 fixed signs. So we've got you, Taurus. We've also got Leo, and there's a lot of Leo here. Aquarius and Scorpio. And we are in Scorpio season as well, so everything's fucking intense and emotionally dramatic at the moment. Anyway, running very deep at least. But this card talks about endings of cycles, right? And whoever this is and whatever message it is that they deliver, it's enabling you to close out a cycle. You. Right there. And it's really funny, I'm looking at this, I've never really noticed the fact that Leo is the only sign that's actually looking at me. Like, it's looking directly at the person holding the card. Like, even you there, slightly looking off at a distance. Like, this is straightforward. But whatever this message is, you've got an opportunity to process this and close out the cycle properly. Like, this is a card of also leveling up, you know, in some way. Like, the whole point of us being here is to, you know, experience things, learn lessons, put them in the right place in our heads, and then move on as a more evolved kind of, you know, settled creature. And it's the end. It's literally the end of the major arcana. From the world, you go back to the Fool, to the new start. And then we have the Page of Wands. Now, I love the Page of Wands. I really do. And it's not just because I'm a fire sign. Right? It could be a person who is younger than you, probably a fire sign, or has fire in their chart somewhere. But he's full of naive excitement about experiencing the world. You know, he's literally vibrating with the excitement of getting out and seeing things. Because like the Page of Swords, he is also a messenger. But whereas he's all grave and looking very serious and all that kind of thing, full of the task, you know, the task that he has to undertake. The Page of Wands is excited, but delivering the messages is kind of like his side gig in his head. Anyway, what he's excited about is having the opportunity to go out and travel, experience the world, right? So there are 2 ways of interpreting these sets of cards. And one of them is that this is the message and this is the nature of the message. And the person delivering it is the Page of Wands. It'll have, usually for me, the Page of Wands is Sagittarius, actually. So he's got Sagittarius somewhere prominently in their chart. Or the message comes in, you get a chance to do with it what you want, you know, and that's use it to your advantage. Use it to put this situation to bed properly. And as a result, you end up with the Page of Wands energy about having kind of like a release. You know, there's a freedom implied with this card, and that's often why it means Sagittarius for me, because Sagittarians are the wanderers. You know, they're very concerned with their freedom, being able to travel about and stuff like that. This information, whilst hurtful, whilst it's not what you wanted to hear, it actually liberates you, right? And it's important to see it that way. Now, this is the bit where we start getting all leonine. So I have to say, it is highly possible that there is a Leo in your life who is important in some way and relevant to this situation, but it doesn't have to be. We've got Sun. Card of Leo, number 19. It's pretty high up there. Now, the one way that I virtually never interpret this card, and I have seen other readers do so, is the arrival of a new child. And it's really, really interesting that in my meditation at the beginning, the due dates were rolling around in my head. The notion of due dates and pregnancy and stuff like that. I'm just throwing that out there. It might only be for one person, but it's there because the sun talks about children. Right? Actually, in this deck, in this depiction, he's a youth. But the point is the same. It's about childlike joy, youthful innocence, wholly experienced pleasure with no tainting of other things, right? And here it is, slap bang in the middle of your reading. You're about to start a new cycle. And I feel like you're starting it in the cleanest way that you've probably ever experienced a cycle change in your life, because you're maturing, but you're being given an opportunity by the universe to clear out some of the dross that's been holding your soul down for a while. And this, this could be months, but we could be talking years, we could be talking decades. It's a chance to liberate yourself. There's great freedom and vulnerability implied by this card here. And the reason that it is associated with Leo, aside from the fact that Leo and the sun, they're just like total bed buddies, it's because Leos have such a playful side. They do well with children because they really appreciate the innocence, the joy of innocent play that kids get. They're basically just big kids themselves. Evolved Leos, that is, Leos who have lots to process can be awful creatures. When they get to a certain point and they start connecting with their inner child again, it's because they've sloughed off all of that previous stuff and they're getting back in touch with their inner child. And it seems like this is a message for you, like this is where you are going, it's what you're about to do. And the two cards that you have there are the Three of Pentacles and Strength. Now, Three of Pentacles is earth energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And being of the earth, it's about, it's threes. It's about building something solid. With other people, actually. This could be literally the building of a home. It could be moving into a new home, something like that. But it's hard work, and the pentacles are made of stone, like whatever's being built here. And this could be a friendship here. This could be a relationship that you're stepping up into a new level of commitment, because pentacles always talk about commitment and security and stability in the home and all of these things, like safety. What you're building in the month of November is built to last. It's gonna last for thousands of years. It's the only pentacle card where the pentacles are made of stone, interestingly. But it looks like it's a cathedral or something, like this thing's going to be here in 1,000 years. And then you've got the Strength card. As well as being the other card of Leo, I always feel a little bit sad when I see this card, because it's utterly beautiful and I love it entirely. And Lion looks a lot like my dog. But the problem with Strength is that it comes up in situations where you are required to draw on reserves of inner strength that you have built up over time. And that pool, that reserve of strength, only comes about from experiencing things that are unpleasant, things that make you grow, probably in a way that you didn't really want to. What you wanted to do was stay a child forever, but then life happened at you and you get a bit jaded and whatnot. But as you grow and as you evolve and as you reflect and mature, it builds character. And that's what this card is about. it's about character, it's about bravery, it's about strength, it's about internal strength. And there we have cards of inner and outer. Inner strength, outer stability. You see how that works. But all underpinning a newfound joy for your existence. I think your perspective is changing, Taurus, in a way that you probably didn't ever expect. Like this time last year, you could not have foreseen the change in you that could occur in 12 months. You know, there's certainly been a change. Certainly been a change in your external circumstances, but I feel like the biggest change has occurred inside where other people can't really see it. And it's delightful to see, because I really do think that you know, the biggest tragedy of anything is growing up, you know, and losing that joy for simple things, and losing the will to play. A lot of people don't play anymore, and they'd be such happier people if they did. Anyway, we have the King of Wands. Now, kings are fixed fire. So he's the Leo king, but he can represent Sagittarius and Aries as well. It's not as likely, but he can. He's not your king, but he's here very prominently. He's here to make a statement to you. Of all the kings, he's the one who wants to be there the least, I think. You know, he's always depicted as looking away from the person looking at the card, because his eye's been caught by something else, you know. And he's always just kind of ready to spring off on a new adventure. But he has duties and he has responsibilities, and he takes those seriously, and that's why he's in the fucking chair in the first place. You know, that's why he's sitting on the throne. But he's desperate to get out there and do other things. I mean, let's not forget, he is, you know, he's the older, more experienced, more mature version of the page. And he's you, actually, which is an interesting thing to say. But he is. This year has been really important for you, Taurus. Like there's been some critical changes that have occurred, and I feel like the retrograde, and we're in the retrograde for I think a full month, certainly sort of going into Sagittarius season. There's a bridging of a gap going on, and November is going to be the culmination of everything that's occurred in the last year. Because the two cards that you've got coming out underneath the King are the Hierophant and the Fool, right? So if you know anything about tarot, you know that this is you. This is Taurus right here. And then we've got the Fool. And the reason that I say it's a bridge is because the Hierophant and the Fool are kind of, they're not conflicting energies, but they're certainly quite far apart in what they represent. The Hierophant, being you, represents structure, you know, guidance, all that kind of thing. There's a rigidity almost implied by this card. You know, there's pillars, there are acolytes, there is implied structure, physical structure, but also societal structure. You know, everybody knows where they are and they're working towards a certain level, and that's where Taurus is comfortable. Like when they know exactly where they are and where they're going, what they're doing, all these things. Very fixed. You're a fixed sign, obviously. But then we have the Fool, and the Fool represents everything that isn't structured. You know, he's the first card of the Major Arcana. And the Major Arcana is known as the Fool's Journey. You know, you're starting off here and ending up here. If you remember, I said, when you finish with the world, the next place you go is the Fool, and here is the Fool. You're closing out a cycle this month, and you're starting on something new. And you're taking all the positive parts of you and what you know and what you've learned and what you've experienced, and your need for structure and your delight in structure and being fixed and being comfortable. And almost to a degree being predictable, but not in a pejorative sense, just, you know, knowing where you've been and where you're going, and, you know, because you don't like to wander, you don't like to be lost, except that here you are, wandering, having no idea where you're going, but going anywhere and anyway, and just trusting that you will be okay. And the reason that I say it's a bridge is because it feels very strongly to me like the King of Wands, probably more than any of the other kings, represents what energy you would get if you paired these two things together. You know, I said he has duties, he has responsibilities, and he takes those seriously, and that's why he's sat on the throne in the first place. But he hasn't lost his desire to learn new things and experience new things and live in the moment. You know, what November will do for you, what the retrograde will do for you, is allow you to move out of your comfort zone a little bit, but do it comfortably. You know, there's no discomfort implied with the Fool whatsoever. There's a childish, innocent joy, again, as we have with the Sun. And this is the perfect combination. You know, the King of Swords is cold and detached, and, well, he's not cold, he's fair and he's just and he's all those kind of things, but there's no sense of fun with the King of Swords. The King of Cups is a bit, I don't know. He can come across a little detached as well, because he's so in control of his own emotions. You know, there's no spontaneity, I don't think, with him. The King of Pentacles, well, fun isn't a word that I would associate particularly with the King of Pentacles. You know, he's got everything kind of set in place for home comforts and work and status and all those kind of things, but there's no fun in there. The King of Wands knows what he has to do, knows what he's required to do, knows what people are relying on him to do, and he will do those. He will execute that duty faithfully. But as soon as he gets an opportunity to indulge that side of him, he will take it and he will do it. A card at the bottom of the main deck was the Chariot. As well as being the card of Cancer, it's a number 7, and 7s are very spiritual numbers. They speak of you know, evolving and moving up spiritually. But it's also a card of self-determination. You know, that dude has no reins. He's controlling those horses, which are made of the water in this deck. So I feel very much like this is your emotional state. He's controlling it all with the power of his mind. This is self-control. This is discipline. But this is also moving forwards victoriously. You know, if nothing else, I feel like this year has really, really taught you how to get in touch with who you really are. And you've just sloughed off so much stuff in order to do that, and you're liberating yourself. You know, there's this is freedom here. Freedom, 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 freedom and liberation, but in the right measure. You've got a perfect balance of duties and responsibilities, and, you know, and being in touch with what makes you, as a Taurus, who you are. You know, there's no disloyalty to your Taurian nature or your earth nature. There's no No sense of you trying to operate outside of your own element in a way that's disloyal. There's a sense of you balancing perfectly as an evolved Taurus what you need in the 3D and what you need to keep yourself grounded and all that kind of thing. You're a very grounded sign. But also liberating that little bit of you that wants to explore, that wants to experience new things. And it's all done under the sun, right there, up in the corner. The thing is, like the Fool, there is trust required from you this month. There is trust that whatever this situation is, you know, take it as it resonates to you. Whatever this situation is, whatever this news is that you get, whatever this information is that you learn that puts you in, you know, in this sense of this awful mental place, very briefly, is for your benefit. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you, and you are going to reap the benefits of it later on. You just have to trust that everything will be better. It's going to start off hard, but you're going to be surprised how easy it is by the end of the month. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to leave it there because it seems like the message was quite direct and specific. But, you know, as always, if you want to talk about it, send me a message, get in touch with me on social media, or just like the video or something. If you would subscribe, I would be deeply grateful. And I am going to be uploading videos more often now. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified when these come up. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Best of luck, and I will see you next time.